enjoying a good health by the grace of Allah. Today we are going to start second chapter of our checkpoint 3, and our second chapter is on page number 15, and the chapter is expressions and formula. You have done about algebra and expression and its formulas in your grade 6 and 7, and we have practiced a lot. And in chapter number 1 we have done laws of indices. Now we will do laws of indices in algebra, index notation and algebra. You can see in chapter 1 you used indices to work with numbers. The same law of indices that you met there are also will be applied in algebra. The things you must remember is over here, like I will explain it to you. For example, if I will say P indices 6, I have told you before that in this case P is a base and 6 is indices. Okay, P is a base and 6 is indices. So when we are applying the laws of indices, the base number should be the same. This is the rule that you should be remembered. And if you will see on page number 16, over here there are only 3 laws of indices are mentioned. Laws multiply, division and raised to power. As we have done all the 6 laws in chapter number 6, but in this lecture we will just cover these 3 laws of indices and their implementations and how to apply this in algebra. It's totally the same. What with numbers, when we were doing with the numbers, what we used to do is like 4 raised to power 3. This is an indices form, and if we want to write this in full form, what we used to do was 4 multiplied by 4 multiplied by 4, like 3 times 4. 4 into 4 into 4 means 4 cube, and 4 is the base and 3 is the indices. Okay, and this form 4 cube, this is called indices form, and 4 into 4 into 4 is called a full form. Whenever you are told to write the full form 4 cube or any number, you will write in this way, and if you are told to write any number in indices form, so you will write in this form. The same thing if we will do in algebra, so it will be a raised to power 3. I will write the same power so that you will not be confused. So a raised to power cube or a raised to power 3 or a indices 3 is the indices form, and if I want to write in full form, I will write 3 times a. It can be any number. For example, I can do 5, so I will write 5 times a. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. This is the full form and this is index form. It is clear to you? And that's good. Okay, now we will move to the topic that was law of indices in algebra. You have learned this, that how to write the indices form or how to write a number given in indices in full form. Now we will do the rules. So first, what was the rules? The first rule was multiply indices. Multiply indices. While doing this, while applying this rule in numbers, what we were used to do is like 3 raised to power 2 multiplied by 3 raised to power 4. When we are multiplying indices, we do 3 raised to power 2 plus 4. It means, what is the rule? Like the rule of multiplying indices is when we are multiplying indices, So we have to add the powers. We have to plus the powers. So 2 plus 4 is 6. It will be 3 raised to power 6. So what is the rule? When we are multiplying indices, we have to add the powers. We will write over here. So it will be, remember to you will not forget. When we are multiplying indices, we will add the powers. I will write powers over here because whatever we will do with the powers. Any operation we will do with the powers. So the same thing if I will apply with the in algebra, I will just change the base. Like in this I have 3 as a base. I will change base into a squared multiply by a raised to power 4. The rule will be same. In multiplying indices, we used to add the powers. So it will be a squared plus 4. And 4 plus 2 is 6. So it will be same. You can see, or you have noticed that the bases are same. That's why the rule is applied. Although the base is a number or an alphabet, it doesn't matter a lot on the rule, because the rule is adding the powers and we are adding the powers. Okay, over here we have base, a number as a base. In this we have an alphabet as a base. In our third example, we will have a base. Okay, I will write p as a base, and the power will also be a number, not number, it will be an alphabet. PA multiply by PB. So the rule will be same. What I will do, I will add the powers a plus b. It cannot be simplified as these two because I don't know what is a and what is b. So it will be the answer for this questions. It is clear to you? That's good. So it was our first rule, multiply indices, and when we are multiplying indices, we add the powers. So you can see we have add the powers. Okay, now we will move on second example or second law of indices, that is dividing indices. If we are dividing indices, what we need to do is, like for example, I have 7 raised to power 2 or 7 raised to power 6 divided by 7 raised to power 2. When we were multiplying the indices, we add the powers. Now we are dividing the indices. So what will we do? We will subtract the powers. Clear? When we were multiplying indices, we were adding the powers, and now as we are dividing the indices, we will subtract the power. So it will be 7 raised to power 6 minus 2. So 6 minus 2 is 4. 7 raised to power 4, or 7 is the base and the 4 is index. If we will implement same thing in algebra, so it will be p raised to power 6 divided by p raised to power 4. P raised to power 6. Law of indices and dividing indices says that we have to subtract the power. So 6 minus 4 will be p raised to power 2. The same thing, if instead of a number, if I will have any alphabet, what I will do, for example, p raised to power t divided by p raised to power s. So it will be p t minus s. Nothing will be changed. Our rules remain the same in this. Is it clear? Okay. Now we will move on the third law of indices, that is raise to power. Raise to power okay, In chapter number 1, you have done a lot in like 5 square and a whole cube. So in raised to power, what is the rule? We have to multiply the powers. Like in this, we will 5 raised to power 2 multiply by 3. In raised to power is we have to multiply the powers. So 2 times 3 is 6. 5 raised to power 6. The same thing. For the I will change 5 into an alphabet like t raised to power 3 and a whole cube. So it will be t 3 multiplied by 4. So 4 times 3 is 12. Instead of number, if I will have an alphabet, so the rule remains the same, like t power a and a whole s. So what I will do, t a multiplied by s. So t as a base, a into s is as indices, the power. So you see, the rule is same. So when we are doing raised power to power, what we do, we have to multiply the powers. Clear? First law, multiply the indices says that you have to add the powers. Dividing the indices says we have to subtract the power, and raised power to power says that we have to multiply the powers. Is it clear to you? I hope you all got this. Okay. Now we have done these 3 rules one by one. But sometimes we may have some questions in which we have to apply 2 different rules. Like if you will see page number 17 of your book, you will see 2.1a. You have to write in index form that we did in first question. Then index form is given. You have to do in full form. You have to write it in full form. In 2.1b, it's the law of multiplication. It means you have to add the powers. Very good. And there are some questions in which you have division signs. It means dividing indices. Dividing indices means you have to subtract the power, like g raised to power 7 divided by g raised to power 6. 7 minus 6 is 1. So you have to subtract the powers. In 2.1c, there is a raised power to power formula. In these rules, you have to multiply the power, like x raised to power 4 and a whole 4. You have to multiply 4 by 4. Now, if you will see 2.1d, this is the multiply indices rule, dividing indices. Okay, you can see in question number 3, there are 2 different rules are being asked, multiply and division. So you have to just multiply this first, like c raised to power 4. I will do it. C raised to power 4 multiplied by c raised to power 2 divided by c raised to power cube. So in multiply, what we do? We add the powers. So I will do c 4 plus 2 divided by c raised to power 3. 4 plus 2 is 6 divided by c raised to power 3. In division, what we do? We subtract the power. C6 subtract 3. So it will be c raised to power 3. So you see, it doesn't matter if the one you have to apply the 1 law or 2 or 3, it's the same. You have to just choose that which rules you are going to do first. Like in this question, I have done the first law, multiply indices. I have solved this, and then when I have got this answer, then I choose the second law, that is the law of indices. So I solved that. So it is very easy to do. I hope you all got this. If you have any problem, you can ask in your Google class in comment section. I will explain this to you again. And now you have to do your questions, your exercise 2.1a, b, c and d on your notebook. I hope you will do your best. All the very best. Allah Hafiz.